All right, so we're going to go ahead and modify this portrait that we drew in proportion from last class period. So last class period, we used a lot of guidelines to make sure the facial features were in the right place and also that they were the right size, okay? So if you haven't already done so, we are going to erase some of these, okay? So any of the horizontal guidelines on the face, we'll erase those. And then also there's some vertical guidelines that we will erase, okay? Now, one of the facial features that we talked about in terms of proportion was the base of the nose. And so we talked about how it's basically width of the base of the nose hits the second guideline, and it is roughly the width of tear duct to tear duct. Erase both of those guidelines that we drew there, and we are going to give ourselves a nose job here. Okay. So once you erase those two guidelines on either side of the nose, okay, what we're going to do is start to modify and change it, okay? So from here, what you're essentially going to do is make changes to all of these facial features and continue to add to them. So right now I have a person with really no eyes in their eye sockets, so that's a little creepy, gotta change that. Maybe your nose didn't work out so well, you can erase it, change it. Same thing with lips, and then you're going to add hair and ears and things like that before you add the shading, okay? So right now, the first thing I'm gonna do after I erase the nose guidelines is I'm just going to make the part between the eyes, which is the bridge of the nose, a little bit more narrow. And then as I come down here, we're going to just make it wider. Now, last class period, if you did not start the base of the nose with one giant sphere with two on either side, see if you can make that so it's a little bit wider here. One of the biggest mistakes I see students make is that they are just making that sphere part of the nose just not wide, just not large enough, I think, overall. Okay, from here, you can go ahead and add the shading, okay, once you have the shape of it. All right, I'm not gonna do that right now, but I just kind of wanted to remind you of that, okay? Same thing with the eyes, you would add the parts of it and then also the lips, etc. Okay, now one thing I did wanna mention was about the hair. So the hair, if you see your forehead, where your hair grows out of your forehead is one nose length up, okay? So if you do see your forehead, this is about where your hair grows out of your forehead. If you don't see your forehead, let's say your hair comes all the way down here, you draw it as such, okay? So it's gonna obscure your forehead, okay? Please draw your hair so that it has some volume, so it should come away from your head, okay? So that oval line for your head, the hair should come away from it. If you don't see your ears, if your hair comes in front of your ears like so, draw it as such, okay? Once you've made these changes, you've added the details to your facial features, now it's time to upgrade some pencils, okay? And use the slideshow. So I've got all kinds of drawing pencils on the back counter for you all to do some shading. The facial feature shading is in the slideshow for you. So make sure you use that as a reference for shading your eyes, nose, and mouth, okay? Also, look in that mirror. When you look in that mirror, you can make your portrait look the most like you. And remember, if you can really get your hairstyle, done, that is really going to make this portrait look the most like you,